Before we start the actual retopology process, we do have to prep our high poly model here. In order for it to work the way we need it to work with our modifiers that we will be using later on. So the first thing we want to do is duplicate our high poly character collection. So I'm just going to go into modeling mode first, object mode here. Going to collapse my high poly character collection, right click and duplicate collection. So as you can see, it created another collection here with different naming and all that stuff, right? So I'm going to take my high poly character collection here, hide it. So now we know we're dealing with this one. And we will rename this to high poly remesh. That way we know the difference. Okay, so let's open up that collection. Now we're going to combine a couple of these objects together. And so first, let's go ahead and hide the stuff we don't need. So I'm going to worry about the hat in there here first. So I'm going to hide the eyes. I'm going to hide the head. And let's go ahead and merge these together. So I'm going to select all these visible objects. Go up to my object menu and select join. So now it's one single object here. And I'm going to go ahead and rename it to hat underscore remesh. Same thing with the eyes, just so I can add a label that's different from the other eye model. And then same thing for the head. So I'm going to move all these out and put them into our main collection here. And delete that head collection that we don't need anymore. Next thing, I'm going to move on to the hand. I'm going to move that out of that hand collection and move it into our main collection and rename it hand remesh underscore remesh. Yeah. So I can delete this hand collection here. Cool. Same thing with the shoes. Gonna move those out here. Okay. There we go. And then I'm gonna rename it shoes remesh. And then last but not least, I do want to join the pants with the jacket here. So make sure to select all these objects, go to object, join, and then rename this track suit remesh. And then we can delete these unused collections. And so these are going to be the separate objects, right? And so the ones that needed to be combined are combined. And based on their name, you can kind of see what step is going to be next. We're going to go into our sculpting tab. And so we know that we're dealing with the correct objects. I'm going to go ahead and just fill these up with the white color. So that way we know we're never touching these high poly character objects during this process, right? So I'm going to take the eye remesh. I'm going to go into the color filter. Make sure I have it set to fill. And I'm going to pick a white color here. Make sure the saturation is 0. And now I can just go ahead and fill this out, right? Just click and drag. So I'm going to do it for every single object here. Okay. And this is why we want to duplicate our model, because we have all this paint information stored over in this other collection. Now we want to actually do one last thing before we start remeshing these parts. I'm gonna turn on our overlay. I'm gonna hide our reference collection, and then I will I will turn on wireframe. Okay, actually wireframe is fine. I'm just gonna make sure none of these objects have face sets. So let's go ahead and initialize face sets. You can just set by loose parts. Actually, no. Let's face set from visible, just to kind of reset everything. Okay. Face set visible. Okay. So this is gonna be the first step here. Next, we will go on and start playing around with the remesh settings to kind of reduce the overall poly count so it's not so heavy in our scene.